Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime, reviewing another Transformers action figure video, and today we are taking a look at the leader class, Beast Wars Megatron from the Kingdom toy line. Yes.
And now taking a look at Megatron's packaging. Right up front here we have this absolutely phenomenal artwork right here of Megatron in his robot mode. He looks great. He's got the yellow blast coming out of the T-Rex mouth. You can see the Nemesis crash over there in the back. It says he is a leader class, and then here on the side you got a big image of the purple T-Rex. 8+ Hasbro Transformers Generations Takara Tommy. Here on the top, you got a Predacon symbol. You got this nice artwork for the Kingdom stuff going on. Authentic Transformers! Here on the side, here on the back of the box, you got the obligatory product shots showing off the figure. Transforms in 27 steps. And that is basically it for the packaging. And before we get into the actual figure itself, I wanted to note that he did come with a card here, and the card is, in fact, Black Arachnia's got a nice, image just kind of right there. It's Black Arachnia and all that stuff. And then when you peel this away, the alternate future that it shows is that Black Arachnia will become a Maximal. Anyway, so that is basically it for the card. And there are no other accessories included with Beast Megatron, or I'm just going to refer to him as just Megatron, just for the sake of the review. Just getting right on in to the Beast mode. As you can see, he's got some amazing, phenomenal details going all throughout the T-Rex here. The T-Rex is very well proportioned to an actual T-Rex, and I am very pleased with how well they've managed the kibble on him as well. So anyway, so getting into some of those key details, looking at his face here, I love that sculpted scales and like all the different work that they've put into the way how this figure is supposed to look.
Really spectacular, spared no expense.
The teeth are done in white, and he does have the molded tongue in there, which is very nice, and he's got the gums. And he is kind of made of a softer material all over, but like it's just a softer hard plastic.
That's what she said!
And he's got all this right here and more scale work, looking very realistic, I must say. A lot more green. Obviously, he's not cartoon accurate. He's kind of more accurate to a realistic dinosaur, but I'm all for it. I love all the scales. The underbelly's got some nice paint and some shading going on. I like that. Again, amazing sculpting of the scales and the wrinkles and the leathery skin. Just all looks very great. He's got the white claws. Very nicely done. And the paint and the tail and all that stuff. And I'm running out of things to say. So anyway, getting into Megatron's articulation for the T-Rex mode, the head has a hinge joint right here at the base of the head, and then at the base of the neck, you can use his elbow joint from robot mode, which allows him to look up very far, so you can get that kind of range right there. And also, at the base of the neck, can shift from side to side like that, so you can look from left to right. And these little spring-loaded panels here allow it to look a lot more cohesive when moving his head around, so that he looks like a completed head sculpt. And also, you could see it a little bit. Due to his bicep joint from the robot mode, the head can also look from side to side a much greater degree due to that. And then he can open up. And then the little arms here are on little ball joints. They can move in and out and can rotate a full 360. The legs can kick forward that far. They can kick back that far, which is very great to see on a beast mode, especially with there being absolutely no kibble. Legs can kick about outward that far. It does kind of mistransform right there, but that's about as much as you're going to get. He does get a bend at the knee, which bends just about 90 degrees. Just with all the round stuff, it's kind of hard to tell, but again, just as long as it looks that way. Ankles can pivot, and his feet can move up, and they can move down. And then finally, the tail. Due to the arm, it does have a rotation from side to side at the base of the tail, so it can waggle like that. Can rotate a little bit right here and move from side to side right here, so you can get some nice curves there in the tail. It is a bit kind of blocky, but hey, just the fact that the tail is posable at all is just phenomenal to me. Anyway, now getting into Beast Megatron's T-Rex comparisons. And here he is compared next to the other, T-Rex toy I wanted to compare him with, the Studio Series 86 Grimlock. Obviously, Grimlock's a much more blocky type, 80s style T-Rex, but I do appreciate the scale here between the two leader class figures, but I still prefer the way how the Beast Wars Megatron looks overall. And then here is Megatron next to his arch nemesis from Beast Wars, Optimus Primal. You and your Maximals have lost to the Beast Wars. Yes. And now it's time to get into Megatron's transformation.
Megatron, terrorize! Yes.
And Megatron looks absolutely phenomenal. And taking a look at Megatron's head sculpt, he looks great. And I'm really impressed with how Hasbro managed to print a tiny Predacon symbol on his forehead. That looks as small as my self-esteem. And the purple in his face and just the molding and everything looks good. I like the way that looks. And then moving down to the chest, I like those little silver teeth bits that we got going across the neck, very accurate to the show. I like those little grill things kind of going across there, but decked out in silver, very nice as well. I like the gunmetal gray molded details going in here. I mean, obviously the purple that's going across right here is not metallic and a lighter shade as it was within the show, but other than that, I feel like the coloration on this guy looks absolutely great. No matter the whole yellowy situation, that doesn't bug me one bit, because I actually like the T-Rex mode, and so just seeing it carry over into this looks just fine to me. And then he's got those side guns right there on the side of his hips, which originally were a lot bigger and shot out these little missile things, and I'm glad that they were sufficiently downsized for this figure. The arm with the tail, you can see the molded hand and everything underneath there, looks good in the purple. Then that molded scale detail from the tail carries over right here. And then the T-Rex head, we looked over this earlier, but again, very nice bits of detail on that thing as well. And then, looking down at the legs, we saw all the detail on this prior, we saw all this back in the T-Rex mode, but still carries right on over and looks great. And yeah, I will admit, he does have a little bit of a backpack. And
what the hell is even that?
My only issues with the figure with posability, we're about to get to that in a minute, but my only issues with the figure is that this hip joint is just a little too loose for my taste. So, but anyway, getting into the articulation, his head is on a ball joint. He can look down a little bit. He can't really look up or down. He moves from side to side, and if you unpeg the panel again, you can get him to look up using that panel. So if you pose it right, you can get him to look up on some pretty good poses. This shoulder can rotate a full 360 with getting away out of the kibble. This one can also rotate a full 360, but also gains a butterfly joint only on this side, because that is that base articulation for the neck. He does have a bicep rotation right on this side. The arm moves up and down. He gets an elbow joint that bends 90 degrees. And then, this is not part of the transformation, but he does get this wrist hinge up and down in here. It doesn't serve any purpose for the transformation, but it is a bit of articulation that's there. Tail can move up and down, and this little bit can open and close as like a claw thing. And then this arm, bicep swivel, goes up and down. He does get the bend at the elbow, which can also bend in the other way. He does get the same articulation in the head as we saw in the beast mode. He does get a very nice, buttery smooth waist rotation. Hips can kick forward that far, they can kick back that far, and the leg can move out this far, but you can unpeg this and like that, and that'll, if you get that out of the way, it does allow the leg to move out all the way. But obviously we're going to leave it right there for now, just for the review. He doesn't have a thigh rotation, but he does get this knee swivel right here. The knee bends at 90 degrees. And he does have the ankles move down and move up, and then he carries the ankle pivot over from the beast mode. So anyway, that is basically it for his articulation, and it's pretty good articulation for this figure. And one last thing before getting into the comparisons, I can't forget to mention Megatron's head. Now it features a 5mm port there in the mouth, which means you can plug in a variety of blast effects of what you wish to really give a lot of life into the head, really giving him some nice laser effects. And for robot mode size comparisons, here is Megatron in comparison with the Studio Series Leader Class Grimlock. And then here is Megatron in comparison to his arch nemesis, Optimus Primal. And yeah, these two look pretty good in scale with each other, and I have had a lot of fun posing these two around. And that is basically it for my review on the Transformers Kingdom Leader Class Megatron. So yeah, I really like this figure. I've always really liked this figure, no matter how much kibble there is. I have previously reviewed this mold before in the form of that Jurassic Park, crossover T-Rex figure, and that figure was also really good, and I was pleased with that figure, but it's still the inferior version in comparison to this guy. And yeah, he looks accurate to the Beast Wars cartoon, while also maintaining some form of realism. I mean, obviously the colors are not the realistic part, more so the actual, details, like the scales and all the stuff, and yeah, the posability is also really nice, and just overall, I honestly don't have too much to critique on with the figure. Mostly just that I feel like they could have done a little better with the backpack. I feel like there's better ways they could have managed it, but the overall is that I still like the figure, and it's one of the better, leader class figures that's been released in recent years. So yes, if I had to give this figure a rating, I give him a very solid 8 out of 10. The only reason I give him that is because I pretty much have the same opinion on the Dragon Megatron, which I also reviewed a little while back, but that figure I like just a little bit more than this one, and I gave that figure a 9 out of 10 rating. So yeah, so I'm just going to give this guy the 8 out of 10 just for the sake of, previous reviews that I've done. But yeah, that is basically it for this review. If you guys enjoyed it, give me a like on the video. Comment below what you guys think. And do you like my Beast Wars Megatron impression? Yes. And I will definitely catch you next time in more Transformers reviews. Yes.